Hello boys, it's me, Yoshi here, and welcome to my 100% blind playthrough of the new Pokémon Snap for Nintendo Switch. The finale episode confirmed. In the last episode, we left off in Aurorus, trying to get all of the different spots and finishing our Pokemon. We got all of the stuff done, except one request, which we've saved until this point, and this will be our finale episode. As per usual with most of these episodes, I will do a final check at the end, this time using our thing. The 100% rules I've set up, I'll probably just tell you what they are later. There may be another sign I could look for as I go through, but anyways, right now, we have to do some 4-star poses. Probably won't talk during these, because some of them are kind of tricky to do. And it can be kind of annoying. We got most of this area done, but we're still missing some 4-star poses, so that's what we're coming here to do. To get the Umbreon 4-star pose, we still have to bring it out just like we did the last time. It's kind of tricky that you have to do this step every time you want to do this. Initially, I kind of just did this for fun, and that brought him out, but then I didn't really get the best timing with that, so it's kind of tricky. And you also need to throw Fluff Fruit for this guy too. You can't do anything else. If you don't throw a Fluff Fruit for him, he won't even walk out towards it. And yes, he ignores your Fluff Fruit on this because just doing that causes Umbreon to appear. While this is not necessarily, I like just doing this for some reason. Just add a little bit of flair to the area a little bit later. Can, I believe, get a better 3-star pose for Woobat if you get all 5 of them. But it's not actually quite. So we have to wake up the Sigilif. As part of a random setup, it'll actually do a Psychic attack first, and you have to wait for it to do other stuff. And it's random, but it'll sometimes toss the food over its tail. It's kind of weird how that works. Because I didn't expect him to eat the fruit, I might actually have missed it, but thankfully it's not actually that far into the area. I'm going to continue no matter what. What we're looking for is an exclamation point icon. I do have burst mode on to try and get a buffer on the photo, which will help a little bit, but anyways. This next part is a little bit more of a tricky secret. So when Umbreon initially did not awake, that's because we did it in kind of the wrong way. First we have to get to around this section first though, so we can get a good photo. If you smack it twice, that'll fully activate it. Sometimes it'll go back to sleep if you just use one. So now when you wait for that, eventually this Absol will come down, and that pose you want right there at the very beginning, that is your 4-star pose for Umbreon. There's a couple of different ones you can get, but I believe the first one is the only one that will give you the 4-star. Yes, I did use zoom mode and a couple of other things to try and get a good photo of that. We'll take the first one because it's more centered and he's also in a very good pose there, I think. I think this one will probably be worth the most points. Looks happy. See? Told ya. Okay, so I did miss the other one. That was because I threw out another Fluff Fruit, and Sigilif noticed it before it was actually able to do its happy pose. In case you're wondering, if you're going for a happy pose on the particular Pokemon, they notice a fruit, and if they manage to eat it before the other one fully disappears, it'll actually trigger that thing to appear. It's a little bit sad because in practice mode I was able to get this on my very first try, but not today, apparently. Thankfully now we've done hard one with Umbreon, we could save a small bit of time. I decided to just keep this out anyways, because if I at least get one 4-star run, it's better than getting nothing. We will go ahead and not activate this thing this time, because, again, we have to slow down to even activate this, so it's faster to just use turbo mode for here until we get to the sleeping Sigilif part. And yes, the Sigilif always appears on the left side, so it's actually a fairly easy thing to get. Getting its 4-star afterwards is actually the tricky part. Another interesting thing is, regardless of what you do, sometimes they'll just attack you instead of doing other stuff. But anyways, that pose you saw just there, that is his 4-star Happy Vibes pose. Only a sleeping Sigilif will even eat fruit, so that is already difficult enough on its own. It eating the fruit is just 1 star though. I'm just gonna take the first one. It's really hard to get a good lineup on him because you have to get him to face the right direction. And you don't have a good time to get a Diamond Star, so sometimes it'll take a little while to get a Diamond Star. I'm not sure what causes it to just do a Psychic attack instead, but I think it's based off of just whether or not you hit them too many times or not. Alright, time for the final request in the game. So the reason why I didn't go for the other one, there is another one I'm missing called the Houndoom 4-star. That's actually part of this request, so I have to get both of those later. It's kind of tricky, actually. Now, I just remembered that in this one, you do have to hit Xerneas with an Illumina Orb in order to make the thing appear. If you don't do that, you can't actually get this. There's also a few more Pokemon in here that I didn't see the last time. I'm not going to be going for those this time because, again, I already did so many score runs. I'll show my results of that later. Nah. If you want to get for higher score than me, you can just go ahead and run through it yourself. The only really random part you have to deal with is the fact that, regardless of which run you do, you have to activate Xerneas' Orb every single time you do that. At least the second time, and I believe the first time as well needs to be done as well for the safety. If you don't do these exact steps, Xerneas may not even move to the spot you want. It's very tricky like that. So sometimes it kind of lure spots up here, apparently, according to the patterns I found out. But that's not what we're relying about. So right now we want to ignore pretty much everyone. Until the orb appears again, then we have to hit it a second time. This one is kind of a little bit tricky, so I'm going to go for a buffer strategy. Where I hit our... oh, never mind. Then we hit Xerneas with a Illumina Orb, and once it starts moving to the side, I'm going to quickly zoom over here and start the Houndoom waking process. You need 2 fruit to actually wake them up. And then you have to very quickly lead them over to the other spot, which can be kind of tricky. Then we'll zoom around and do the same thing for the second one. And then from there, we don't really want to do much. He's going to be led to this spot, and then we're going to spam scan until they notice Xerneas, which will take a quick picture of them, and then we basically wait. Xerneas needs to be standing on his hind legs, otherwise you won't be able to get the shot there. It's also a fairly fast shot, so again, burst mode is heavily requested for this. Alright. This is kind of tight, and we did get both of them. Now remember what I said. In order for this pose to be done, Xerneas must be standing on his hind legs. If he's not standing on his hind legs, the request does not count, as far as I know. So, it has to be a clear pose of him. I'm gonna take this one. I'm not sure if the Houndoom need to be in the photo. Now, the Houndoom one's pretty easy because they actually roar twice. Once when roaring for Xerneas's power, but later, and once before they actually do the request. So you can just quickly take a photo of them and get their 4-star done at the same time. So let's see if this works. You can take other 4-star poses, but Xerneas has to be on his hind legs. This behavior looks like studying. Let's see. Wow, it's unleashed incredible power. Good work. This is no easy shot to get. And good. That's a pretty decent score for just my first attempt at that. Again, you get the most points when Xerneas is on his hind legs, so yeah. Okay. And yes, I did zoom in. Sometimes it counts as a photo of Houndoom instead. You need to make sure you zoom in to avoid that. And here's our actual thing that confirms it. So it looks like we have done our challenge. You completely filled in the Pokemon data in your Photodex by registering photos in every category from 1-star to 4-star. So I guess you could call this a Lental Sage walkthrough if you want. You've received the research tile Lental Sage, a profile icon. Ooh. Unfortunately, it looks like there is no extra ending for 100%. We'll just have to make one up. There is an extra text box you get when you first see all the Pokemon, but the only thing you get for this is called Lental Sage. Keep in mind, this is not true 100%, because there are some research tiles we could potentially get, but I probably should mention what the title thing was. For my 100% objective, my main goal is to not only collect every single Pokemon in this game, which is something I wanted to do from the beginning anyways, but I also added an extra goal of trying to fill in the Photodex with all 1 to 4-star requests. And just to show you, anything with a crown is fully complete. So, anyways, Xerneas is now complete, along with Houndoom. And a couple of other stuff. Okay, so just to confirm this, we have to do a little bit of a check. So we'll go to all and search for all these. This part is good. This part is good. This part is fully good. This part looks 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 good. And this part looks good as well. So that confirms it. We've gotten all of the 1 through 4-star photos of every single Pokemon in this game, meaning our Pokedex is finally complete. I mean, Photodex. I'm so confused. I keep confusing this Photodex with something else. Sorry if this video is a little bit short, but I wanted to make sure I finished this. I will try and fill in the time with something, so just you wait. So before we do anything else, let's go back for a minute and check my other thing, because I had a couple of requirements. So not only do I have to get the photos of every Pokemon for 1 through 4-star photos of every single Pokemon in this game, but I also added an extra goal of trying to find and complete all the Lental requests, which it says completed request, all requests, 230 out of 213. Since that has a crown, that means we are done. It's pretty straightforward to check. I like how the game puts a crown to let you know that you have completed all the requests. And there we go. Thank you for investigating. Oh, from this photo, there must have been a tremendous amount of energy there. Unfortunately, completing all the requests doesn't actually give you anything extra. It's just another bonus thing that appears. But anyways, that confirms it. We have now done 100%. But first, I definitely need to show you guys how my overall standing turned out. So for my particular set, I'm going to go here. I'm not going to set the course score yet, but I will take a look at the total Photodex score and see where we rank now. Previously, we were ranked, what, like 1993 to 2093? Now we are the top 2,970th player in the world. So that means right now only 3,000 people or so, or more, have actually completed the full Photodex. Now that I think of it, though, that's actually quite a bit. It looks like they were able to get it done a lot quicker than I thought, but as you can see, that ranking is looking a lot better. We're not close to the top, but we are pretty good. In order for us to get higher, we have to get diamond photos of everyone, but I'm not doing that, so I'm pretty happy with this position turned out overall. And yes, that is my no-fun name if anybody wants to find out. And then for total course score, after doing a couple of retries, it's not the best, but we are pretty high at around 40,000 points, which is not bad. I did do some reattempts on a couple of the courses, which is why this is a lot higher. And that's the only thing I'm going to check, because checking all the individual course scores would take forever. But I just thought I would show that, just to let you guys know what was really important with our stuff. Also, we can see now we've received a total of 495 sweet bells, and still, my one photo I created before still has the most, which I find kind of interesting. Anyway, let's take a look at the research title progress we have. We have 1 out of 12 fully complete, 2 fully complete, 3 fully completed, which kind of changed. 4 has, I believe, max out your research level on all courses and snap a total of 10,000 photos, which that just has to be done manually. In a single research expedition, snap 1 free-star photo for each of 10 species of Pokemon. Show the professor 1 photo of each 100 species of Pokemon on the move. So professor each 100 species of Pokemon eating something. And happy Pokemon, as well as, what else? Complete the research map for 1 course. What's that? That's kind of strange, because I feel like I've completed that a couple of times. I got a total Photodex score 3 million points or more, which is nice. And then we have 8 out of 12 complete, 9 out of 12 complete. Oh, there's still a lot of Vivian to register. And there's still high scorer as well. And this one's still new. Keep in mind, some of these are online photos, so they are completely random whether or not you actually get them. So the 100% would actually probably be kind of random. But again, I'm not showing research titles for that reason as part of 100%, because again, you get most of them anyways, but the ones online I feel are a little bit difficult to do that. So I thought I would show that just to show my overall progression. We got about 80% of the research titles, so we are pretty happy with that right now, which I think is good. But anyway, because we didn't get to do some of the other stuff, I'm gonna give us some credits to play in the background. You can play these whenever you want after the finish of the game, but I am playing these to make the 100% a little bit better. I think better time now than ever to play. Might be a little bit different, actually. So, I guess let's talk about this. This is one of the tougher games to play. At least compared to the original, this game is much better than the N64 version. It has more content. It has multiple ways to get different Pokemon. And this 100% is a little bit tricky. Previously, in 100% for the original game, it was actually pretty straightforward. All you had to do was get a photo of every single Pokemon in the game. It didn't care how you did it. You still had to get decent photos of Pokemon to unlock other stuff, since as you collect certain points, you unlock your items, like apples and other stuff. In this game, you kind of just unlock them as you progress through the courses, but in that game, you had to unlock them by collecting a lot of points. So that means the beginning of the run is actually kind of tough. And then, of course, you had to get every single photo of every single Pokemon, and some of them are a little bit harder to get than others. Probably the trolliest thing about that entire course is, entire run, rather, is to get a good photo of everyone. You have to get, you have to complete a run where you get all the way to the end and then restart for a bunch of them, because in that game, you can only take your first 6 photos. You can take multiple, but you can only choose 6 photos to submit to Professor Oak, from what I learned. In this game, they obviously fixed that, so you can send as many photos as you want of all of the characters. And it looks like it's showing us our 4-star photos, which is nice. So, I guess it just picks based off of which Pokemon that appeared. Whatever your strongest 4-star photo is in your Photodex, that will show up here. So that's a good thing that they're doing. Anyway, but yeah, that game, N64 game is definitely good. I hear a lot of people enjoy speedrunning it in particular, trying to complete it as fast as possible. But there's not a lot of secrets in that game, so for new Pokémon Snap, they definitely improved it a lot. In particular, they added a lot of new poses you can meet. There's like at least hundreds of different secret poses in this game, most of which you're not even supposed to find normally. Most of it is found by just experimenting, by throwing random amounts of orbs and other stuff until you finally figure out, okay, this makes them do something. Some of them are easier, some of them will always do the 4-star pose if you just do a certain thing. Some of it is RNG, but other times you have to do some really specific things to get them to actually go in our stuff, and most of the time it's actually not quite been made aware how you're supposed to get these 4-star poses. Is actually kind of tight, actually. But yeah, I feel like a lot of people will like this game. Well, it's not like not as good as the other regular games. Like many people, I saw a lot of people complain about this game for not being quite as good as the other good Pokemon games, like Pokemon Sword and Shield, for example, the new one, the newest Pokemon game, which I also have a walkthrough on, and a couple of other ones, pretty much all the originals. But that's just bad, because let's be honest, there's a good fan base for this game. Most of this is based off of people who either really liked the original game or speedrunned the original game, because before this game was released, they were speedrunning the original like crazy, and I think Nintendo caught on to that, which is another part of the reason why this even got released at all, which I think is crazy. Like, Pokémon Snap seems like it was almost forgotten for a while, but the community behind it basically revived it. Just like that other game that I mentioned earlier, the Sunshine Experiments one. That one, speedrunning literally revived that game. It was crazy. But, yeah. Well, all I could say, though, is this game is definitely impressive, and I definitely recommend everyone plays it if it's not. One thing I like about this game is it's a lot chill and not quite as difficult to at least finish, or even get all the Pokemon, as a lot of people believe it to be. Or, if you're trying to go for a full Photodex, it's definitely a very difficult game, but it feels a lot easier to get a hang of, and a much chiller game to play than the actual Pokemon games, because I don't know about you, but some of those games can sometimes be a little too difficult. But that being said, they also kind of chill, so it's hard to really know. I'm just saying, this game has some good stuff that the original Pokemon games or main Pokemon series does not have. Which I think is really fun in its own way. Definitely good. But yeah. I also like that they straight up added a new region with the same effect of this game as well. Like, they straight up added a new region when they put this game out, which I think is really cool. Just another additional thing they added. Alright. Unfortunately, the credits don't seem to change. These remain the same because they didn't actually make a separate ending for the game. So again, I put this on just to make it work. Alright. And that's going to be it for this full playthrough, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, because I certainly did. Leave a like if you enjoyed, comment, rate, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next playthrough. Peace.